Today, the Vatican speaking out on reported mysteries and miracles, releasing updated guidance for the first time in nearly 50 years on how to discern supernatural phenomena and apparitions. You'll remember last summer, whistleblower and Air Force veteran David Grush exclusively told NewsNation he believes the Vatican is part of a 90-year cover-up of alien existence after a UAP was allegedly found in Italy.
1933 was the first recovery in Europe, in Magenta, Italy. The Italian government moved it to a secure air base in Italy for the rest of kind of the fascist regime until 1944, 1945, and the Pope Pius XII back-channeled that.
You're saying that the Catholic Church, the Vatican, they know about the existence of non-human intelligence on this planet?
Certainly.
Well, NewsNation's Joe Connell is live in Washington. Joe, did the Vatican speak on UAPs specifically at all?
They did not today. What happened today, what we got was actually just a laying out of new guidelines from the Vatican as to how they vet and review what they're calling supernatural phenomena. These are religious things. So they get reports from all over the world all the time about appearances or apparitions from religious figures, people who genuinely in some cases, and maybe in bad faith in others, report that they see religious figures appearing in front of them. Or, for example, this is a case that is reported often in different parts of the world where you've got a statue of a religious figure, Christian religious figure like Jesus Christ or like the Virgin Mary that ends up having tears of oil. That's one that we've seen more than once now. So the church is basically saying now they've got a new process to review which ones of those are explainable, which ones may be mistakes or misunderstood, and which ones may just be straight up hoaxes or false. And then the other category of what they may appear to be legitimately things that they cannot explain with human means. So that is what we're now getting now, these new guidelines. And effectively, what we're seeing is the Vatican wants a deeper hand to deal with these kinds of things more directly. The new guidelines we got today says that the local bishop, which for those who are not religious or may not be familiar, that's a religious authority within the church that's higher than a priest and sort of the go-between from a local Christian Catholic community and the Vatican. The bishop would directly respond to these kinds of reports, make a determination, but then it would be kicked up to the Vatican, so the bishop doesn't make any declarations unilaterally. The Vatican itself would have a body where it reviews these types of reports and then deems for itself whether it's credible and legitimate, or in the digital age of deep fakes and AI, whether it may be something else, maybe something more nefarious. And the church in these new guidelines warns that there are those cases where people may be trying to profit or benefit in some way from a false claim about these kinds of supernatural, unexplainable, or unidentified phenomena, Nicole. So that is what we have today. And again, interesting because this is the first time in some 50 years that the church is openly discussing and talking about how it's going to handle these kinds of reports. Now, you talked about the David Grush claims. There have certainly been people on Capitol Hill and elsewhere that have tried to make that connection between some reports relating to the Vatican on UAPs. Those have not been confirmed or proven that we know of yet. Haven't seen concrete evidence of that, but certainly there are some people that try to draw that line. What we can tell you today, though, is that the church does receive all kinds of reports about these unexplained phenomena as it relates to religious figures, and now it seems that the Vatican wants a more direct hand in examining them.
All right, Joe Connell live for us there in Washington. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.